It's just fantastic. Captain's log, subdate 21512.3. I might have accidentally filled the fraud wing of the ISO cubes with tax returns. My tax returns. Tad ironic, but okay. I think it's time to get the fraud monkeys to purge the wing of my paperwork. Maybe I'll give them some cake if they do a good enough job. Welcome everyone to the Halls of Injustice. Today may well be the 5th time in this series where I have successfully managed to get one of these particular types of videos monetized, because it doesn't involve the 2 taboo crimes. No, this one involves fraud. Okay. Before we start, I shall be streaming on Twitch tonight. Probably Murder Fun Time, Context Assassin's Creed, or Fishing. If you're at all interested in a casual chit-chat and a little bit of gaming, link to my Twitch in the description down below. The perp for today is called Volodymyr Kvashuk. I'm going to call him Voldemort. It's easier for me to say. He is from the Ukraine and currently, well, not anymore, resided in Renton, Washington. He was employed by Microsoft between 2016 and 2018 as a software engineer, which is a glorified title for a tester. And what I mean by tester is, Microsoft use a system. Now this system is designed to allow their online store to work and run smoothly. The testers are required to purchase things through dummy accounts. This ensures that the system runs as it should run and nothing is actually purchased because the system in place prevents dummy orders from being processed. All sounds good so far, doesn't it? Well, Voldemort noticed something, and Voldemort honed in and took full advantage of this. I just want to add now, because this one entertained me when I read it, Voldemort is such a criminal. He is so notorious now for what he did, that his entire crime is on the Department of Justice, U.S. Attorney's Office for the Western District of Washington. Congratulations for getting put on the US DOJ website, which is quite handy, as there are a number of aspects within this particular crime concerning perp number, or inmate number, 052, that are not mentioned in one of the articles I linked down below. Brilliant! Plenty of sources for you to laugh at. And before we get into the crime that Voldemort committed, I'm going to say this because I know somebody will in the comments. Consider it obligatory. Taxation is theft, yo. So Voldemort noticed a crack in this system. Early on he realized that he could make purchases that he would then receive. What he noticed was store credit, gift cards, graphics cards could in fact be purchased without them then being voided as a transaction. So that is what he did. He acquired a number of gift cards, a bit of store credit, some graphics cards, bought himself a rather nifty Office subscription, which, I'll be honest with you, is the only time anyone knowingly or willingly pays for it, when open Office exists. Over a period of 7 months, though, Voldemort got a little braver, to the point where he was creating many dummy accounts, using old dummy accounts as well to make additional purchases for store credit. He would then use colleagues' created accounts so he could make even more purchases for gift cards, store credit, and so on, things he could get that would then slip through the system's fault, which does in fact mean, kinda, he had accomplices. They didn't know that he had done this, by the way. One does have to give Voldemort a fair amount of credit, though, because over a period of 7 months, he had managed to obtain close to $10 million worth of Microsoft's gear. Their own money. He managed to get it, and I'm sure many people are applauding this, while using Microsoft's own systems while working for them. To launder this, though, he had to be a bit clever, so he started investing in cryptocurrency and laundering it through that into Bitcoin, which we'll get back to in a moment. You see, something he had to do to get the Bitcoin was he had to reduce the value of what he was selling by a considerable margin, mostly so that no one would know it was him, even though when the police started investigating him, which was after those 7 months, well, it turns out he's not as bright as you think he might think he is. because he didn't use any alternative accounts, he didn't mask his trail. They were done with accounts he had created, as I earlier stated, which meant it didn't take 5 seconds to work it out. By extension, it didn't take long to work out he'd also gone onto other people's computers to continue this. So I mentioned Bitcoin. The reason why is because Voldemort acquired a few things with it. He had about $2.8 million worth put into his bank account transferred from Bitcoin so that he could buy the following: a $1.6 million waterfront home and a $160,000 Tesla, which is a car for those who don't know, unless you're in Mother Russia or have played Command & Conquer, in which case it's that electric thing that goes pew pew pew, zap zap zap. Because of the amount of money that was transferred into his account from Bitcoin, which Voldemort had used a mixing service to hide the origin of, he did have to declare the money to the IRS, but his claim was that those Bitcoins had been a gift from his father. Clever. Eventually he was busted by Microsoft and fired in June of 2018. Of course, this then did go to law enforcement. Microsoft are hardly going to let so much as a penny of their money go to anyone. During the trial and the investigation, Voldemort blamed his colleagues. He took no responsibility, and he made it quite clear that nothing of this was his fault. The theft of the CSVs? Ooh, no. That's currency store value, by the way. No. That's the fault of his colleagues, not him. He even claimed that his intention was not to defraud Microsoft, and that he was instead working on a special project that would benefit the company. Well, it took the jury 5 hours, following a 5-day trial, to return a guilty verdict for quite a lot of charges, so let's go through them. You have 5 counts of wire fraud, 6 counts of money laundering, should have called Sol, 2 counts of aggravated identity theft, 2 counts of filing false tax returns, and 1 count each of mail fraud, access device fraud, and access to a protected computer in furtherance of fraud. That is a long list of frauds. I am very impressed by your commitment to your cause. For your special project. By chance, was your special project to rip off Microsoft? If it was, I don't know if you know this now, while you're in prison in the ISO cubes, but it might not have worked in the long run. So I guess we should get to the sentence, because there's a little bit of a sentence to this. The first is that he was sentenced to 9 years in prison. He was also ordered to pay $8.3 million in restitution, although it is unlikely he'll ever pay that, along with the fact the US government says he's going to be deported after he serves his time in prison, so he can go back to the Ukraine penniless, having lived a lavish life for about 9 months. When sentencing, US District Judge James L. Robart said Voldemort didn't have any respect for the law. Stealing from your employer is bad enough, but stealing and making it appear that your colleagues are to blame widens the damage beyond dollars and cents. This case required sophisticated technological skills to investigate and prosecute, and I am pleased that our law enforcement partners and the US Attorney's Office have the skill sets needed to bring such offenders to justice. As a small little add-on, I couldn't help but notice, partway through that, it actually changed to US Attorney Moran. My apologies. Dear Voldemort, maybe you should have gone after the Muggles instead. I hope you enjoy your time in the ISO cubes. We will be giving you a job. You are going to be scrubbing the toilets that we've trained the dogs to use. They haven't been flushed in about 3 months. Best of luck to you. You're going to be using a Lego brush. The same brush you're going to do your teeth with. Anyway, as we're done here, I'd love to know what you think about this. Please do let me know in the comments down below. If I don't see you on Twitch, have a great day. Thank you all for listening.